Hi, this is Dave. Today I'm going to be working on my 2022 Maverick Lariat and installing the bed lighting as many people have done, and I'm going to show some specifics of for what I've got, so we'll see how this goes. I do have the hard roll-up cover installed, and I want to be real specific about that because I'm going to use some of the hardware that is holding the cover on to install the lights. Now, I did purchase a pair of light strips off Amazon. I will put the link to the purchase of these two light strips, and there was a pair of them on my link here. And I mentioned the roll-up cover, the rails for the roll-up cover. You see this, they're right here, and it's kind of like a 45-degree angle. There's a straight down attached to the bed, and there's an angle on here. I want to attach the lights to the back side, the underside. The angled part goes all the way down. I think that'll provide a nice feel to the lights when we get there, and when it's done. And it's a good place to put them. They're protected from the weather. Anything won't get in the way of the roll-up cover, and a nice place to put them because there's a lot of stuff going on underneath here. And with the spray and bed liner, I think it'll stick better on the railing. The first thing we're going to do here is we're going to take off the tail lights, because the wiring is going back up underneath here. There's a space right underneath here that the wiring goes to get to the area where we can work on it and connect them all up. By the way, the screws that hold the tail lights on are these here. There's one here, one down there, and again, you'll notice I have the tailgate damper on there. That's a nice add. And there's one under there, and then there's equivalent two on the other side. So now we've finished installing LED strips, which had adhesive on the back, some of the 3M adhesive, I'm assuming. And right up against the brackets here, you'll see that this is the bracket, or the mounting piece for the roof, the tonneau cover. And right underneath it here, we've installed and the LED strip lighting, and you'll see it's right up, probably about an inch away from the front of the bed. It goes all the way to the other end of the strip of the bracket down here. So we have the LED lighting all the way across the length of the bed. I think it'll look real nice when it comes on. And obviously done that for both sides. And just to reiterate, on all the Mavericks, I believe there is a space up under here, which if you feed the wire up through here, it comes out behind the tail light over here. So that makes it easy to work with. You'll see the wire here coming down here. It makes it easier to work with and get it down to cross underneath the back of the truck. And it might be a little difficult to see, but the end of the wire that attaches into the LED strip is up in here. I curled the wire around underneath, was able to push it up underneath the bracket here a little bit. It goes around this corner here and into the hole, and then I put a little silicone sealant up in there to kind of hold it in place. Now that the light strips are installed and they're working, I checked it with a 9-volt battery. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to wire the strips into the Lariat light package here, so that when we press this button, they go on, or when when you open and unlock, they will come on, that kind of thing. So that's the next step. So I've taken this panel out, remove the connector to the light. This is the switch. That's the 120 volt. And I've connected it in. And what I find is that the black with the kind of green stripe is the hot side, and the black with the white stripe is the common side. I don't have it plugged in now, but if I do this, the lights come on underneath, the new strip lights come on. Now the wiring kit I got came with the 2 wire strips that ended with, each wire strip ended with an equal length of this particular wire with this connector. Then there was a third piece that had a switch on it, and for wiring into the power source, a fuse, and extra wire here that ended with 2 receiving connectors, 2 of the female connectors. So each one of those, each one of the sides of the LED strips plugs into this. Well, because these were equal length from each wire, and I want to wire them into the left-hand side switch, I had to do a little splicing. So I cut the wire off on the passenger side LED strip. I cut it off. I spliced it in. I spliced about 3 feet of a 16 gauge automotive wire here. I used some solder and seal connectors, which were really good. It basically, you connect the wires together and then you use a heat gun, and actually has a solder inside of it and it melts right over it, which is really good. And then I added in a shrink wrap on top of that, which had some heat shrink tubes, which also had some glue inside that oozes out to protect the water from getting inside, so water will not get into those. I had to splice that. Here's what it looks like before I put the external on. So those are the 2 of these solder and seal connectors, which has solder built into the middle, and just soldered those 2 wire, the black to the black, red to red. So it's basically extending the wire from with the connector from the passenger side. Now on the hybrid, which this is, again, Lariat hybrid, on the passenger rear panel right underneath the tail light, where we took off to get access to feed the wire through, there's this plastic panel. And the plastic panel is held on by several screws, different kinds, all around it. And so one video suggested, well, we'll take that off. And I said, that seems like a lot of trouble. So I got a fish tape. And I put it up in there. It actually went right up in there into the space where I was needing the wire. Attached the wire to it, pulled it right down, and that worked really, really well to get the wire down underneath the underneath this panel. In fact, I encased it in the whole wire in some corrugated plastic here to keep it all together. Tied it in with some zip ties, and that was really, really good and really, really easy. The other thing is we have the spare tire here, which you wanted to get in the spare tire, and they said we'll take the spare tire out. I didn't feel like doing that, so I put the fish tape above the tire, pulled it right across. So once the fish tape came through here, pulled again the wire over here. Here's the corrugated, it comes over here, and again zip tied it a couple of places here to hold it in place. Here's where it ends, and then the wire goes into here. I've got it zip tied to this bundle of wires here. And then I ran it up through this hole here, which goes right into the cavity where the switch is. I have now brought the passenger side light, the wires here. This is the driver's side light wires. The next thing I have to do is tap into the light wire with this connector. There's the final steps after splicing in the wires. Wrapped it in tape and then put some liquid electrical tape on the ends of the splices to kind of seal it off. And now press the button, not only does that light come on, but the under railing lights come on too. So now that I've finished with the wiring and reinstalled the panel here, this light switch on, again, the Lariat light package in the back, this switch, when we turn it on, operates that light there. The light above the cab, and as well, you'll see that the lights on either side above the strip light we put in, it works just fine. I press it, it comes on, or it goes off and on as we press it. In addition, Lariat, I don't know if other versions have this switch here, and this actually turns on the lights in the back, and when I press that, the same thing happens. It turns the lights in the back off and on, including the new bed lighting we put in. So and I also checked out when you do the unlock initially, those lights would normally come on, and that is also true with that. So now I've finished with that install. Looks really good, works really well. I'm gonna take a look and see about the switch and see if I can install a magnetic switch onto the tailgate, so that when the tailgate is open, it automatically pops those lights on. We'll see. I'm not exactly sure what that switch in the cab and or in the tailgate do. It looks like, because the lights will automatically turn off, so I don't know if it's open and it just is a interrupt switch. It says, oh, I've been interrupted, turn on or turn off. Not quite sure. And the magnetic switch I got is either on or off, so we're gonna have to check on that, and we may get into that and post another video about that install.